If you are in the market and looking for a GMT watch, either for its functionality or you just like the look, I mean, honestly, most of us watch geeks and nerds, we like how they look. Functionality, we have phones and pretty much they can do anything nowadays. When it comes to GMT watches, depending on the budget, obviously, because, you know, it can go very high in prices what you're looking for. But let's say you are under 500 and you're looking for a good GMT watch under 500. What are your options, right? You have some from Seiko, you have some micro brands in that price, and then you have AliExpress watches. You have SAN MARTIN and Addy's Dive, Watch Dives, and so on and so forth. Honestly, because of Seiko's NH34 movement now and Chinese watches and micro brands, there is so many options of styles and colors that will fit your need. But what if you also want a GMT watch that is in titanium? Then it narrows down that list quite a bit. And today that's what we are talking about, this new SAN MARTIN 39mm GMT watch. I got this watch a couple of days ago and I have the unboxing video too for you to check it out. I got 4 watches and I got everything from Watch Dive. Out of all 4, this is definitely my favorite. Therefore, I'm making this review first. Well, the design is copied basically from Tudor Pelagos, so everything about the design on this watch, the credit goes to Tudor. But the execution SAN MARTIN has done here is pretty outstanding. The titanium makes this watch very light and very comfortable on the wrist. And that beautiful blue dial goes very nicely on that titanium case. But first of all, I think the watch is a 39mm case. And I think 47mm lug to lug. I will put the dimensions on the screen. So one of the features that I do really like about this watch is the lume, actually. So the transition from a daylight into a darker location like a garage or indoor, the lume on the dial and bezel is done very nicely. So every morning when I go to work, I park my car in the garage. And then that moment driving from outside the daylight into the garage, and that beautiful lume color with that beautiful dial, they go very nicely with each other. Even when it's not so dark areas, there is some light, but if the lume is charged from outdoor light, you can see this beautiful symmetry of light and those markings on the bezel and the indices and that blue dial coming together very nicely. It's very impressive to look at. Definitely gives you the feel of wearing a much more expensive watch than what you actually paid for, honestly. So I paid $250 for this watch, but the fit and finish and the feeling that you get from this watch, it's a lot more than that price that I paid for. The bracelet on the watch is a regular SAN MARTIN oyster style bracelet, 3-link bracelet. It is done very nicely. The bracelet is very comfortable on the wrist. I was able to get a very good fit. The clasp on the watch is bigger than my other SAN MARTIN watches, and that's because it has that on the fly adjustment, which is very nice during the day when my wrist swells up and stuff. So that is very nice feature to have to make that adjustment during the day. The clasp is very tight and nicely built. The finishing on the bracelet is done very nicely on a titanium watch. I know SAN MARTIN does a very good job on steel watches. The gaps between the links are very nice. They're not too far apart from each other. And then it has a screw down crown. I find the opening of the screw down feels a little weird, but when you're screwing it down, it's very nice. Other than that, with the NH34 movement, so there is nothing like too crazy about the movement. It's the same old Japanese Seiko movement. The bezel action on the watch is done very nicely, very easy to move, and it's a bi-directional bezel, so it moves both sides. As I mentioned before, the design of this watch, all the credit definitely goes to Tudor because they're the one who came with this legendary design, Pelagos, and it's a favorite of many. Pelagos, Tudor Pelagos, and that is for a good reason, because it's a beautiful designed watch. But the execution St. Martin has done on this watch here is truly exceptional. That beautiful blue dial with that blue bezel. Yeah, the border on the hands are snow white, but the lume color itself is a little off white, but everything goes very nicely. The yellow GMT hand and that white indices and hands with the blue dial in the background is just beautiful to look at, and it feels and looks a lot more expensive than it is, because in this price range, let's say $250, which you cannot get the Seiko SSKs because they go for $280, $300 on eBay. But if you get, I have those and I have a review on them too, which I sold. And I mean, if you do care about, you probably have heard that a lot. If you care about heritage and the history of the brand and all that stuff, then definitely Seiko is there. But if you want to, if you want fit and finish and value for your money or how nice the watch feels, then definitely this wins over Seiko any day. There's a 300 meters of claimed water resistance on this watch. I have not tested it. I don't need to, because I'm never gonna do any of that. I mean, max if I'll take this watch is probably in the pool or beach or something like that. So I mean, and as if it survives that, it's good enough for me. But I'm pretty sure it can, because I've seen some videos, other YouTubers testing the water resistance on these Chinese watches, and they hold pretty nicely actually. There is that marking on the 6 o'clock with that automatic and the water resistance depth and the yellow GMT writing on this. I think it goes very nicely. I don't think it feels out of place or anything. I don't have a problem with St. Martin logo, but I think it is a printed logo. Yep, it's not applied, but the indices are applied. I don't think this logo looks bad at all, but I know a lot of people are not a big fan of it. And I don't know why that is, but I don't have a problem with it. It looks fine. And the size of the dial is very nice. It does not feel too big or out of place. Everything goes together very nicely. The white window date on the 6 o'clock also goes very nicely with the whole watch, because in this watch you have a max 3 colors going on, right? You have that beautiful blue with the snow white and a little bit off-white of the lume, and then that yellow GMT hand. But all these colors together makes this beautiful looking watch. When you look down, it definitely feels and looks very luxury. Overall, I am very happy with this purchase. This watch fits very nicely on my wrist, feels very comfortable. This is definitely one of the watches that's gonna stay with me for now. I don't know if it's gonna be in the collection for now, because I have to still wear it and experience it for longer. But this was my first initial couple of days of wearing it, because when I got the watch I did wear it, because this was the first one I wanted to make that review about. And if you are looking for a titanium GMT watch, you're not gonna go wrong with this one. Definitely it does feel and look a lot more than what you pay for, and that is pretty common with a lot of St. Martin and Suges and Chronos watches. Actually, you do get a lot more than what you pay for. Okay, this is it for me for this watch. And I will see you guys on the next one.